This is Real Talk with Brendan Bardick, where we'll be talking about the latest real estate strategies, scripts, top producing techniques, and everything you're going to want to know about how to be an elite real estate agent or real estate coach, or just a great business person. Good morning, everyone. So we're going to jump in. We only have one beautiful hour for me to show you 20 amazing listing lead sources. So I'm going to go through this as efficiently as possible. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay, Anna? Yep, can hear me all right. Excellent. So thank you for joining us. My name is Brendan Bardick with Brendan Bardick Real Estate Coaching, where our mission is to train the most elite real estate agents and coaches on earth. Today, we're going to be going through how to find 100 plus homes a year to sell. This is part of a 3-part series, how to find, list, and sell. But today will be part 1. Tomorrow at 10 o'clock will be how to list them. So the entire listing presentation, what to do, virtual versus in person, everything you need to know about the listing presentation. And then Thursday will be how to get them sold. Marketing techniques, price adjustments, behind the scenes, what we do at our operation to make sure everything goes correctly to get you to an actual closed sale. So today, my wonderful co-host, Anna McKeel, is going to be kind of going over a few of the guidelines so you'll understand what we'll be doing today, which will hopefully save some questions. But if you have any questions throughout, feel free to just raise your hand or unmute yourself or use the chat box. But Anna, take them away.
Yeah, thanks, Brendan. And welcome, everyone. We're so excited to have you guys here on this webinar today. I'm going to be here every step of the way to answer any questions you have. So like Brendan said, go ahead and pop those in the chat box or put yourself off mute. And then be sure to connect with us. If you have extra questions, I'll be sure to put our email address in the chat box as well as how to follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, podcasts. We've got it all. So with that, have a great time, ask lots of questions, and I'll turn it back over to you, Brendan.
Excellent. Thank you. All right. So we are going to dive in. And Anna, just to make sure, I always have to ask, are you seeing the opening slide?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay, great. Otherwise, I'll just look silly. So perfect. So again, I own the Bardick Group at Keller Williams Real Estate, been selling real estate for about 18 years, have done a ton of lead generation over the course of my career, did a lot of things that didn't work, figured out a lot of things that worked okay, and then figured out a lot of things that worked really well. So I'd like to share some of those things with you today. I'll take you through as efficiently as we can. We're going to be going through my top 20 lead sources. So there's quite a bit to unpack. I have about 35 total, but couldn't fit all of those into 1 hour. So I'm going to go through this. If you have questions, feel free to let me know. In addition to the Bardick Group, where we have an amazing team, we're the #1 real estate team in Denver, also am the owner of Keller Williams Integrity in Cherry Creek. So we have an amazing brokerage with about 200 fantastic agents. And I started out as an assistant and, as my career assistant to a top producer. And as my career progressed, it's led me to this point. So I've probably done every role as a real estate agent, and I've probably been a buyer's agent, a coach, a assistant, everything under the sun. So there's not much that I haven't covered. So if you have questions, just let me know, and then we'll jump into this and get just going. So before we go into the top 20, there's some tools we're going to need. And I always utilize this slide. This is a picture from my actual office. And with the tools we're going to need, we have technology tools. So the Red X is a service that provides you leads, expireds for sell by owners, rent by owner information, the NED list. Land Voice does the same. Mojo dialing system. If you're going to do this at a high level and you really want to do a high level of lead generation, you're going to want a dialing system. Mojo is a triple line dialer. There's other companies out there, Vulcan 7, Red X has its own dialer. It allows you the ability to call 3 times as many people as you normally could on your own phone, leave pre-recorded messages, do neighborhood searches. It is an absolute game changer of a tool, even if you're not doing outbound prospecting, even if you're just utilizing it for open houses and things like that, which I'll talk about here in a moment. The Coles directory. So with the Coles directory, that's going to be another service that helps you find phone numbers, that allows you to search them and pulls up neighborhoods. You can find data so you can contact. Now this is a contact game, right? We've got to be able to really find people's information. If you find out or hear that there's a seller that might be interested in selling, but you can't get them on the phone and you keep stopping by to door knock, which you can't really do right now either, you can't get a hold of them, you're going to need a service that helps you find information, and that's one of those services. A headset, right? I know a lot of us use our AirPods now. If you're going to be doing this at a high level, you want a comfortable headset with noise canceling technology, so your wife's not yelling at you about, you know, whatever you didn't do or the laundry or whatever it is. You just need to, you know, cancel that out, make sure that you can focus on the calls that you're doing. You're going to need a webcam and a microphone, especially right now with doing Zoom appointments. And we're doing these every day. I mean, we are still taking listing after listing after listing. You know, our team alone in the month of April still took 17 listings in this current state. So it is possible. There's just techniques you're going to have to learn to be able to do it very effectively. Altos market reports, again, you're going to want to be able to provide people with data, statistical data. That's another company that we utilize. A mirror, because you need to monitor your energy. So even here in my office, I have a mirror to make sure that I'm, you know, at the utmost high level and that I'm bringing that energy and that smile and all of that to the actual client, which is fun. And then a Zoom account. Obviously, you're going to need Zoom or some sort of technical equipment to be able to do this. Affirmations, a digital brochure. So your listing presentation or your value prop in a digital format so you can get that across to people. We use Issuu, ISUU. There's several different companies that make beautiful brochures of your value proposition, but you need to be able to get that into the hands of clients. Note cards, again, handwritten note cards sitting on your desk. So anytime you make a connection with someone, boom, you shoot off that handwritten note card saying, hey, it was so great speaking to you, John. I know you're not looking to do something right now, but if you ever have any questions or there's anything I can do for you, real estate or otherwise, feel free to call me anytime. Sincerely, Brendan, or kind regards, or love, or whatever you want to put, right? So handwritten note cards, stack them on the table. Those should be going out like Santa's workshop. I mean, you should be sending, especially right now in this climate, you should be shooting 5 to 10 handwritten note cards out a day, every day, without a break there. So, and then you need no distractions, which we all know is extremely difficult during this current situation. So distractions, again, when you're going into your lead generation session, you're going to identify these buckets that I'm going to provide you. And then you need to be able to have the time to actually focus on doing them at the highest level. All right. Now, on that wall, you also see scripts, dialogues, my schedule, affirmations, goals. At the bottom of that picture, if you can see that, that's where I used to rank in the entire state compared to my competition, right? That was a motivator for me, and it may be for you. You say, hey, look, I'm number 34 in my office. I want to be in the top 5. You need to be looking at those 34 that are beating you every day to have that mental motivation before you get into this, that I'm going to be number 1, or I'm going to be number 3, or I'm at least going to be in the top 10. If that's not something that motivates you, then you need to put whatever it is. Put your dream board up there. Put your vacation home. This is a mental game. If you're going to do this at a high level, you've got to be prepped mentally to do it. All right. So now you've got every tool you need to be successful. Now we're going to jump in and we're going to go into the top 20 lead sources, right? The reason you came today. So we're going to go through these. We're going to go kind of, number 20 all the way down to number 1. The first 10 I'm going to go through, I'm not going to spend an enormous amount of time going through in detail. If you have questions, we can always cover them later. We're going to be doing additional classes. We have YouTube videos that cover this, a podcast that covers this, all kind of stuff so you can get the full information on each one. But for the source of this class, I'm going to be going through these first 10 a little bit quicker, and then the next 10 I'll dive in very deep. All right, so number 20, COVID-19 edition buyer, seller, and senior seminar via Zoom. So what this means is that you can host and post out to all of your social media that you're going to be doing a seller seminar. And this is very easy to make a couple of quick, easy slides. You invite your inspector, your lender, you have a kind of an assortment of team members on there that you're going to have on the Zoom call. So you can have people answering questions about right now what it looks like to sell in today's market. And things, what's happening right now where we're having success with the seller seminar is there's a lot of people at home right now prepping projects that they want to do for their house to get it ready for it to go to market. So they have questions. So one of the people I'd have on that seminar is a contractor. You can have a stager on that seminar. But everything's just going to be done via Zoom. Now, in the real world, you can do this in real life and have people come into your office, or I've seen people do it at community centers, a library. You can do whatever you want there, but you're basically just getting people into, you're running an advertisement of when you're going to do it. So let's say you're going to do your seminar next Friday at 4 o'clock. You start doing the marketing, you put it out to everybody. It's super easy. Do a Zoom call. Get to the people from your database on there and then give them what they need. Now, you can do the one for buyers and also seniors, right? So seniors right now that maybe are looking to downsize, they have questions right now about the COVID situation, how that's going to affect them with showings. You want to get into a targeted group, right? Get that targeted group and build a 6-7 slide PowerPoint like we're doing today. It's super easy. If you're a Keller Williams agent, they have this all for free on kellerinc.com. It breaks down an entire seller presentation for free, listing presentation, or excuse me, seller presentation, buyer presentation, and investor. You can also do investor, which I accidentally left off. So if right now investors are getting really excited about the opportunities that may or may not be coming up. All right, number 20 taken care of. 19, agent to agent referrals. So right now, one of our big lead buckets are a lot of people are transitioning in the job market because they got a new job across the country, or they lost their job and they have to go move in with their mom across the country. So unfortunately for that to happen, that means that there's a lot of cross action happening between states right now. So I need to be connected with the best agents in every state, so they know that I'm their go-to resource. So you can utilize this through Zillow. If you're KW, you've got KW Connect that does all of this information and sorts it for you. Make those introductions. Make sure that when somebody thinks about buying or selling here in Denver, you're that person they refer that business to, okay? Very important one. I think, alone we did 36 transactions last year just from referrals, from out-of-state referrals, 36. It's not bad, okay? Celebrity endorsements, right? Me and my homie Barbara Corcoran, right? So if you have somebody in your universe that is any type of celebrity that you can leverage that personality. I don't care who it could be. If you want to go the paid route, you can also pay for these types of endorsements, and that creates a big lead bucket. You can also use these as influencers. So if you don't actually know them, you can pay influencers to post things on your social media, which is going to make you look more legit, and it's going to get more people to follow you and or like your content or build your brand, right? So just try to think of, do you have a cousin, an uncle, somebody that knows somebody, any way that you can get some sort of celebrity endorsement. Now, that takes you into radio and TV ads. Radio ads are very inexpensive. They, not to say very inexpensive, they have a price to them, but you can run radio ads right now. We currently do KOA talk radio because of the demographic was what we were looking for. And how many people are listening to the news right now? Quite a bit. So we've had amazing traction on radio. TV ads, of course, you can run TV ads. There's numbers of ways to do it. You just have to look into it. And there's companies that do all the legwork for you. They'll do the entire thing. Of course, that depends on your budget, right? If you don't have the budget for that right now, then don't do TV ads. The more inexpensive route to go are digital ads. So number 16, and when I mean digital, this is you running your own personal Facebook ads, Instagram ads, LinkedIn ads. LinkedIn is huge right now. And when we say digital, you doing it, not paying somebody else to. So you're going in there, you can take an easy course. All this stuff's on YouTube. You know, I wanted to let everyone know all of this stuff. If you want to learn how to do an inexpensive Facebook ad, and again, we know with Keller, you can do it inside Command, and it's very, you know, it's got our technology is already built into that. But let's say you just wanted to do it outside of that on your own. Go to YouTube and go Google how to do Facebook real estate ad. You'll get about 50 things that come up, including probably something from me, that'll explain to you how to do it in detail. So you're going to need to learn some skills right now. You're going to need to take your what you used to do before, and you've got to think about, what am I going to do? Now, that simple digital ad is, you can easily run an ad on Facebook. You guys have probably seen them and gals. What's my home worth right now? Has my home value been affected by COVID-19? Click here to find out. They click there, they go to a simple form that asks them a couple questions. They hit that submit form. You call them, tell them that you're going to provide them a detailed comparative market analysis, and you sell their house. Pretty simple, right? That's just one easy, simple ad that I'm really surprised more and more agents aren't doing on a daily basis, that you can run for about $5 a day and get a lot of traction from, for $5 a day, okay? So digital ads, okay? Now, the next one, again, divorce attorneys. This one's on fire right now. I've been having people call me from my database because, again, quarantine is pushing people to the brink, unfortunately, and we're getting a lot of people that are separating right now because they didn't realize that they didn't actually like each other all that much. And now they're in a pressure cooker, and that's exploding. So reach out to every divorce attorney. Well, Brendan, what do I do first? Do I just call a divorce attorney out of the phone book? Yes, that's exactly what you do. You go through, you call them once. Now, again, remember, you're not going to call a divorce attorney once and they're going to be like, oh, I'm so happy you called me. I can't wait to give you all of my business. No, that's not how it works. You're going to continue. You're going to put them in your database and you're going to nurture them. You're going to keep checking in with them. Even if they're going to maybe say to you, they already have an agent they work with, at some point that agent's going to screw up or die or do something or move out of state or get divorced or whatever it is. And you're going to be there when that time comes to fill that spot, right? And if you want to, send them your listing presentation, your package, if you want to explain to them how you're going to be such a great resource, if you want to grease them, and by grease them, I can't tell you what to do via your local laws, but if you want to, work out some sort of thing with them, you can work out some sort of thing with them. And I can tell you that's what top agents do, right? They're doing things to make sure that they build solidified relationships with these attorneys to make sure they're in a good position to receive their referral business. Another favorite bucket of mine is retirement communities. So number 14, retirement communities. We know that right now, a lot of people are going into the next phase of their life, and they need to go into assisted living. And the people that do the intakes at assisted living homes are one of the first people that know about somebody that's going to need to sell their home to go into assisted living. So you can call every assisted living facility, and there's quite a bit of them, and work your way into the magical graces of that person that does the intakes. And again, give them your value, show them what you can do. You can also put together packets. So pro tip, you put together a package for the retirement community that highlights everything, and you can even offer to pay for the retirement community's information that they're needing to do, that makes it a one-stop packet for anybody that might be interested in taking that next step. Things about the community, things about when they play bocce ball, the recreation schedule. I was just at one the other day, before the COVID, not the other day, before the COVID thing, and they had their whole dating thing. There's a big dating thing for all these people in assisted living, which I found fascinating to me. So there's a lot of ways that you can maneuver yourself into, but you got to provide value. You can't call up the lady at the retirement place and be like, hey, look, I want all your old people's business. How do I get down with you? Like, how does that work? You're not going to get very far, unfortunately, right? Like, that's not going to work. So role play your pitch to somebody, have a value package that you want to deliver to everybody, and go after these retirement communities as best you can. Next, number 13, direct mail 8x8 33 touch system. We still receive a ton of business from our direct mail, and meaning direct mail in a couple of strategies. Number one, out of all of what I talked to you about today, you're not going to do all 20. Don't try to do all 20. Doesn't make sense to try to do all 20. You need to pick one or two that you're really going to sink your teeth into, and in my opinion, try to master. Now, with that, you're going to want to back up those programs with an 8x8 33 touch direct mail system. And what that means is, once you make contact with somebody, let's say the guy or gal at the retirement community intake center, you're going to direct market to them 8 weeks in a row, and then 33 times over the course of a 12-month period to saturate them until they utilize you or refer somebody else to utilize to you. So the mail is a passive backup to a direct marketing system, which is you talking to somebody. Now, you can also use it to farm, and you can, go and bomb an entire neighborhood, and that's fine. If you're going to do that, at least get more targeted. Make sure, you're looking at zip code analytics, you're doing things and looking at the turnover rate. People ask me all the time, Brandon, what neighborhood should I sell in? The neighborhood that's selling the most. The neighborhood that has the biggest turnover rate would always be where I would want to go, because I like to get rapid sales. Now, some people go, well, they just don't really change over too much in Cherry Hills, but I want to dominate Cherry Hills. That's fine. That's just a longer term strategy that has a lot more saturation of competition. May or may not work. It'll work in 20 to 25 years, but you're going to have a real tough time doing it on a consistent unit basis every year. My favorite are condo buildings. I love, 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 love condo buildings. High rises, they're the perfect place to do a direct mail campaign to. We teach an entire another class on that. But so, Anna, was there a question? Sorry.
Nope, we're good. We just had a couple of questions on what a 33 touch is, and where they could find more information on that.
Yeah, great question. So with the 33 touch, we teach a class called Market Your Way to Millions. 33 touch system, and I'll make it very simple. It's 12 direct mail touches. So 12 market reports, whatever it could be, something that they're getting digitally. So 12 market reports, your newsletter, whatever it is, 12 digital, 12 direct mail, and I like to go 6 quirky, 6 informational, 6 fun things, 6 informational. So something about real estate, something that's fun and personalized to me, right? So now we're at 24, then 4 phone calls a year, 4 phone calls a year, 1 phone call a quarter. So now we're at 28. And then I like to sprinkle in 5 custom touches. Let's say this could be Mother's Day card if they're a mother. This could be their birthday. This could be the time frame they bought a home for me. This could be St. Patrick's Day. This could be whatever those 5 fun, customized ones that are really custom to them. Or if you really want to make it easy, just do 5 handwritten note cards over the course of a year to them. Hey, just thinking about you. Hope you and Susie are doing well. You don't even have to say if you need anything, call me. Just a thinking of you note. So now you have 33 touches. The 8x8 is 8 touches, 8 weeks in a row to brand yourself into their brain 8 weeks in a row, right? So hopefully that made sense. Come to Market Your Way to Millions, and we break all of that down. The stuff we use, we show you all the examples, the cost, all of that fun stuff. All right. Number 12, I wish I had like a drum roll for these. Start a meetup group. Ugh. And just saying that, I know, makes some of you cringe, right? You're like, the meetup group, like, really? So when I got into real estate, I was like, man, I need to meet people. And I think Meetup, I'm that old, Meetup had just come out, or at some point whenever I started doing it. And You can either attend meetup groups because you need to meet people and network with them that have the same likes that you do and the same hobbies and things that you're into. So at first I just started going to all these meetups and it was painful. I was like, oh my gosh, these people, like it was bad. And so then I got better and it helped me, kind of take down some of my walls and really understand how to connect with people. And I just said, look, I'm going to go all in and just try to make connections. And I did a boatload of sales from it. Then I decided I'm going to start my own meetup group. And I was like, all right, going to this hiking one was cool and the snowboard one was okay. But I was like, where can I go somewhere and I can talk about real estate and do something that I like to do and attract people to me so I can control it and I'm the leader of the group. So I started what was called Top Shelf. So we would have meetups at local restaurants and bars, and we would try their top shelf liquors. So we did everything from sake to scotch to whiskeys to tequilas at Mexican restaurants. And a lot of weird times, I can just be very honest, at the end of these things, but got a ton of business from it. I controlled it. It grew very, very fast, and people enjoyed coming to it because it was unique. They got to do something they like to do. We had people that were, Scotch, enthusiasts. We had people that, it was amazing. And I never thought it would have grown into that if I wouldn't have attended my first meetup group. And it took it so far that it actually became a website. I created a website. I was selling ads for recommendations on Top Shelf Liquor. It was unbelievable how much one little sliding door can change, but you got to put yourself out there. And I see people go, hey, I went to this meetup group. I didn't get a sale from it, so I stopped going. What did you expect was going to happen, right? It takes time to build relationships with the people and to get your name out there, but you've got to start somewhere. Now, you can do virtual meetup groups right now. I think another one, and I should have put it on here, my wife, she does book club and with all of her friends and crushes book club. Book club is a meetup. That's all it is. It's a meetup group, right? But it's luckily for not weirdos off the street. It's people you normally know. So just think about, how can I get in front of a target audience on a regular basis and probably do something I enjoy, so I have some common ground to talk to them about, whether it's politics, religion, hobbies, recreation. If you're into photography, start a photography group that you guys, get people in your little world and then get them in your database, and then you will get business from it. So, all right, next one, number 11, email your entire database with 2 questions. And you can frame these questions however you'd like, but just think for us, we have 27,862 people in our database right now, right? And that's been a long time building up that database. So if I email out a blast email with the subject line, with COVID-19, should I wait to sell, ? And then in the content, I have, a few lines going, I have a lot of questions right now about, should I sell, da, 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 da. Now you could either spin that into a seminar where you pitch them on the seminar and have people come there so you can get a face-to-face, or your verbiage could just be, if you have any questions about should you wait right now, then go into the reasons why they should or shouldn't. And if you have questions, I'd like to discuss, give them a few pointers. And then if you'd like to discuss this in further, please feel free to give me a call or email me back with a time that works best for us to discuss privately, right? So that should I wait to sell, then a week later, send out the same darn email with should I wait to buy? And then again, 2 or 3 bullet points, send them to your buyer's seminar if you want to take them to your buyer's seminar, whatever it is, but you're taking them directly to some sort of call to action, and it's powerful. Now, another way to apply this, right? Could you just post this on social media, right? Yes, you could. You could just pose that question and say, hey, I'm doing a seller at a seminar where I'm going to discuss this exact thing. Could you put it in LinkedIn where people are going right now by the droves because of the job situation? So just think about all those things. Right now, someone in your database is contemplating selling. I guarantee it. Right this exact moment, someone is thinking about selling their home. And to the other side of that, you have somebody right now that's either thinking about buying, needs to buy, or an investor that wants to buy that needs to buy right now. You just need to make sure you're in front of them when that thought triggers in their head. And all you're doing with this is you're planting the thought. Just like Inception, the movie. You're just planting this one idea in their head that's going to take them down this rabbit hole to call you to sell their house so you can get paid and have a happy life. Okay? So those were the first 20 through 11. So I hope that was helpful. We're going to jump into, and I actually provided the scripts. So here's some scripts for the should I wait to buy and should I wait to sell. This is a call script, and you can customize this to an email, which also works exactly the same way. Now, our script book, our entire script book that covers all of this is on our Brendan Bardick Real Estate Coaching Facebook page. Feel free, I'm sure Anna will put a link in the chat box. Go there, like our page, drop me a review, tell me something nice. I feed off your guys' energy, and I can't thank you enough. It's why we do these fun classes. And you can get all this cool information for free. All right. Top 10, number 10. So internet lead sources, right? So number 10, I have them right smack in the middle. This is where you can just buy some leads, right? And there is nothing wrong with buying leads. There's a lot of things that are better than buying leads, but leads are fine if you have the money to spend on them, as long as you're getting the return on investment out of them that you need. So if I'm doing internet leads, I would rather do pay-per-click, where I'm paying a company to run a pay-per-click advertisement. And for people that just don't understand what pay-per-click is, basically when somebody types into Google, buy a home in whatever your city in, that's called a keyword search, right? And then you get sponsored ads on Google. Every one of those ads cost a certain amount of money for every click that you're putting for that specific keyword search. At any given time, we're running 18,000 individual keyword searches and phrases for our pay-per-click, right? You might start off with 100 or 50, and you can do this all yourself. You don't have to pay a company, and it's much cheaper to do it yourself, but you're gonna have to lock yourself in a room for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 days to learn at least the basic understanding of AdWords to run campaigns. Otherwise, you're just gonna be putting money down the drain. It would be like, I always tell, one day I was like, you know what? I can do this whole E-Trade thing. I was like, stockbrokers can't be that smart. Boy, was I wrong, right? So I go on E-Trade. I bought, I think it was $12,000 of some mining company because I was like, mining's got to be a good idea. And I think like 3 weeks later, I had $2,000. So that's the problem with not doing enough research on the front side. And I still hate that darn company till this day. But it was my fault because I thought I could play in a world that didn't need that much research, right? So shame on me. So don't do what I did. Research it or pay somebody to do it. Now, if you're paying somebody, you can Google the accounts. They're going to charge you $500 for your spend or to manage the account, and then they're going to charge you X amount for your spend on actual click. Usually there's brackets of how they do that. It's extremely effective though. And the reason I like pay-per-click is because at least I'm going semi-directly to the source. All Zillow is doing all of this for you behind the scenes and charging you an entirely higher fee because they know you won't do the other little steps. That's all they're doing. They're charging you $200, $220, $250 per lead right now because they know that you're too lazy to go watch a YouTube video for an hour or two to figure out how to do this. So if you want to pay that premium, you can, but you're usually on a Zillow lead, you're looking at about a 2-to-1 return. On pay-per-click, you're looking at 3 to 4, 3 to 4 times return on your investment. But the only thing with the pay-per-click is you're gonna need to have an amazing place for these leads to land, right? So you're gonna need either a website with forced registration, meaning they come to your site, look at a property, click on a few things, and then a screen pops up that says, I'm so glad you're enjoying our website. To see the rest of the properties, please put in your information. That's called forced registration. Capture their information, they become a lead. It's the same thing that Zillow does. Zillow goes, look at all these great properties. You want to call the agent? They click on the agent. They don't get you. They put in their information, and then they sell your lead to somebody else for your own property, unless you pay for Premier and you have all these extra things, okay? So they work, but they're not the best bang for your buck unless you're very good at your process. Now, the other thing with internet leads is once you capture them, you have to have a very refined system of processing them. Otherwise, if you don't have a flow chart, a lead processing system, here's the 10 things I do for every lead I get, you're going to get frustrated, and you hear it all the time. Man, I bought like, $2,000, $3,000 a month of Zillow leads, and I didn't get a single deal. I don't know what happened. Okay. And then I always ask people, so what happened when you got every lead? Well, I called them like at least twice, but then they never answered. So I just let it go. Well, there you go. Congrats. You just lit money on fire, right? You've got to put them into that nurture system, whether it's market reports, the 33 touch, market snapshots, text campaigns, email campaigns. I mean, you've got to go full court press. Otherwise, it's pointless. Okay. So leveraging your Google business page, Facebook 26, we teach in another class all about how to internet lead gen using Facebook, but basically doing, the 26 letters of the alphabet, contacting people throughout Facebook with the collation of their last name. ZBuyer, there's tons of these sources out there where you can just Google buy real estate leads, and they will be more than happy to sell them to you. They're just taking out the work that you should be doing to get them and learning it and charging you a fee. Okay. And then realtor.com is probably by far the worst that I've studied for conversion goes. And then homes.com is probably right along there with it. So think about what you want to do. If you want to, we'll be talking all about this on the podcast, and, best practices and who's getting the best return on investment on internet lead sources. And so the answer is yes, but you got to do a lot of stuff to make them work. Okay. We know if you're doing a true 8x8 33 touch to your database, to what we call your METs, and you're putting them in there, you're marketing to them, you're doing all these things, you know that you're going to be looking at a 1 out of 6 conversion ratio. One for every 6 people in your database, they should give you 1 lead, 1 referral, do business with you at one point, right? That's an extremely amazing conversion ratio, 1 out of 6. Instead of an internet lead, which is going to convert at about 3 to 6% total. So you'd have to have 100 internet leads to close 3, maybe 6 out of 100. And again, depending, you'd be like, well, I'm a lot better at converting than that. Good for you. It could be a little bit higher, but it's not going to ever be as good as 1 out of 6. I can guarantee that. Okay. So think about how you're going to be leveraging your internet lead sources. Now, we've also included scripts for all of this. So inbound seller internet lead call script, inbound buyer internet lead call script. And these scripts are designed for when you're talking to these lead sources to get you to the bottom line, which is to set the appointment. Where I also see a lot of agents out there that I've coached along the ways have issues is they go, man, I'm getting all these leads, but they're just not converting. Okay, well, what are you saying to them? And they're like, well, I'm asking them if they want to buy or sell right now. Yeah, that's probably not going to work, right? So scripts are designed for a specific reason, which is to build rapport, ask the right questions, and keep a rhythm that gets you to the end goal, which is set an appointment. You can't sell them if you can't get an appointment with them, right? So make sure you're thinking about that. If you have this mindset where I don't need scripts and, this or that, it helps. It helps. That's what it's there to do. When you first started riding a bicycle, you had training wheels. That wasn't a bad thing. It wasn't like you got beat up because you had training wheels. You needed it to make sure that you were good to go until you were so good enough because you memorized that muscle memory of riding that bike that you never needed them again. A script is there until you memorized it and you have it in your memory so you never need it again. Okay? All right. Number 9, affiliated businesses. All right. So this is everyone that you give money to should be giving you back business if you handle this the right way. So, so this could be your hairstylist, your mechanic, all of these people, your inspector, your lender, anyone you know in the world. And the simple pitch is very simple, right? We've got scripts in here for it, right? Is you're going to pitch to them and say, I'm calling today because I'm in the process of creating a list of preferred businesses to give my clients. I frequently have clients asking me for good mechanics, and I'm looking for a trusted local company to refer them to. I've heard nothing but great things about you. Now, this would of course be if you didn't know them. And I was interested if you were, are you interested in being included? Yes, great, perfect. And you go from there. I'm not going to go through it, but you see how it goes. And if they say no, okay, well, and then you can go down that route. If they say no, the next thing I'm going to ask is, well, I appreciate you taking the time to think about that. Well, while I've got you on the phone, John, where do you happen to live? Oh, Highlands Ranch. Oh my gosh, weird. I actually have a client looking in Highlands Ranch right now. John, if you were to sell, where would you go next? That's scripting, right? So it's trying to squeeze out every juice of every call, of every conversation that I can possibly ever have to lead to a real estate transaction or a referral of somebody that I'm going to put into my database for future nurturing that's going to do business with me or refer business to me. Okay. So affiliated businesses. So however you want to find them, think about each one of those groups, and there's a lot of money to be made there. All right, let's go to number 8. Pretty simple one, past clients, but simple in the fact that I see people not do this very often. So past clients, again, you're calling them once a quarter. Everybody goes, what the heck am I going to talk to them about once a quarter? So just some easy tips and ideas. We teach an entire another class called a 10-25-90. Where you do a giveaway every 10th of the month, a business spotlight every 25th of the month, and you do a client appreciation event every 90 days. 10, 25, 90. There's a whole lot that goes into this, but you should never not have anything to talk to your past clients about, because you can talk about the giveaway. You can ask them if they know of anybody or themselves if they would like to be featured as your business spotlight. You can invite them to your quarterly event, which could be movie night, happy hour. Right now, virtual bingo we're doing. You could do virtual Pictionary. You could do book club. Invite them to your book club. Invite them to whatever it is to get them in your universe, right? People should be doing virtual book clubs right now like they're going out of style, because people have time and they're at home and they want to read and they want to talk to you about the same book, so you guys can connect because you're in the same tribe that's talking about the same stuff, okay? So figure out a sophisticated way to connect with each of your past clients on a regular basis. But I would pose this question to you. If you gave me access to your database right now today, and I went into your database, and gosh, hoping that that's not an Excel spreadsheet. And if it is, come talk to us, we can help you. But let's say that it's in a CRM, right? A contact management system like Command or Real Geeks or Boomtown or something, powerful. And I go, give me access to it. And I went into your database. And if I went in there, how many follow-up calls would I see scheduled with your past clients? How many would I see? Some of you are really good, and you do a great book of business. Usually you fall into one of two buckets here. You're great at past clients, you suck at getting new business, or you're really good at hunting new business and you suck at nurturing past clients, right? And that's okay, right? But we should at least try to get better. Like, we should be focusing on getting better at the two things, because you want to hunt and farm, right? Those are both great. And when I even say hunt, you want to plant seeds, and you can't plant seeds if you don't go to the seed store and buy new seeds to put into the dirt, okay? All right, moving on, past clients. So I created this script because I am guilty as you are. That's why it's called contacting neglected past clients. Neglected, because we've all done this, okay? So there's a script for every single lead source. There's a script for every single scenario. You might not like it, you might not get it, you might not understand it. That's why we do role play, right? Role play is very important, because without role play, we can't build those skill sets to really get smooth at how we're doing these and find your own voice, right? A lot of this is going to be memorization. It's going to be, you really dialing in what you need to do. So neglected past client script, this will be on the coaching page. Check it out. Even if you write your own script, and you're more than welcome to, these scripts were designed over the last 20 years of trial and error, excuse me, right? So we tried certain stuff, nope, got hung up on it. And I'm talking, we're doing, somewhere between 300 to 500 calls a day, each individual person, 5 days a week, right, to test these out. So it's not like these were just willy-nilly. They really were designed to cause a certain reaction, okay? So just think about that before you go off and start, creating your own stuff. All right. Center of influence should be also a no-brainer, right? Your phone book, your social media, your Facebook. One thing you could do every day, right? So you're doing your miracle morning, you're waking up at 4:30 a.m., you're doing your lifesavers, you're doing this entire practice because you want to be ultimately successful, to have this amazing life, and you need a few more hours. Every morning, you're doing a couple of touches to your center of influence, which hopefully are in your social media. I also coach a lot of people where they have a database and their database isn't on their social media, or they go, you know what, Brendan, I just hate social media. I'm not even on Facebook. I'm never going to get on Facebook. Cool. Way to make your life a lot harder as a real estate agent, right? Enjoy not doing a lot of business. If you're not on social, you're fighting with one hand behind your back. It's the best place to build community, to stay in front of your clients for the least amount of money on earth. Get good at it. Get good at least one of them. You don't have to be great at all of them. You don't have to be tweeting every 5 seconds, right? But you could be learning at least one of them and dialing it in and connecting with your people. So back to the miracle morning, every morning commit to, I'm going to connect with 5 people on my social media that are part of my center of influence by either liking, commenting, private messaging them, whatever it is. So they, and not going, hey, Joe, it's Brendan. Hey, I was curious if you want to sell your house. No. Hey, Joe, it's Brendan. How's everything going with COVID-19? Are you guys staying safe? Question mark. Hey, Joe, I thought about you the other day when I saw this funny picture of this goat. I thought I'd pass it along because I know you love goats. Whatever it is, it doesn't necessarily matter. It's the touch. It's the thought. It's a digital handwritten note card. Now, don't make this, now you did your miracle morning, you're doing that, then you have your handwritten note cards, and you can also be filing those off right along to the same person doing the double touch, right? You can do that for there. That sounds kind of creepy, but you get it. All right. You used to be able to pop by. You can't pop by right now, right? It's still discussions, right? Should you be doing deliveries and stuff like that? Is that more concerning and all of this? Do what you think is smart. But we know one thing that's safe right now. Well, probably safe, is connecting via social media, right? Some of you who might be in weird chat rooms, who knows, right? But for the most part, you can connect via social media, and you know that there's nothing that's going to be safer than that, all right? And then client appreciation events, we talked about the 10, 25, 90. We're going to go through that more in detail, all right? So general center of influence call script, COI, center of influence call script, super easy. We have a script for that. You're curious about what you wanted to say. That's already done for you. Boom, there you go. All right. Number 6, the NED pre-foreclosure, right? So NED, notice of elective demand. This means that people are 90 days past due on their mortgage payment, okay? This is a huge bucket and will become a huge bucket much sooner than it was before. Right? But we're looking at people that are having some sort of financial issue, some sort of hardship, and you're going to be there to save them from foreclosure. You are their real estate hero, okay? And you can get this list from title companies. They provide it. Zillow has a lot of time pre-foreclosures on there. Foreclosure.com, you can buy these lists. Mojo, the dialing system, provides them to you. The Red X, Vulcan 7, Land Voice, I could probably put 30 other companies on here. Google real estate foreclosure listing leads. You'll get 20 different answers. Figure out which one might be the best for you. I personally prefer the Red X. That's the company that I built my entire career on. So I love the Red X for expireds. I love the Red X for sale by owners. I love the Red X for rent by owners and for pre-foreclosure. I just prefer Mojo's dialer better. It's just a little bit better than the Red X. So for all of you going, I don't know what the heck he's saying, go check it out. If you want to play at a high game, right? If you want to play at the next level, these are tools of your business now. The future, again, the world has changed. We are not using our fax machine as much as we used to. So now we have different tools that we have to use. I remember sitting at the fax machine and we would fax to local businesses an advertisement to see if they wanted to buy or sell a home with us. I would sit there at the fax machine and just shoot these out to different fax numbers. It was a sad world. You have the ability to do so much more with leverage technology than you ever have before. You're just sometimes intimidated by it because you won't take the time to learn it. And all you have right now is a lot of time. So learn the tools to come out on the other side of this with an education of, I'm going to be able to do more with less. Okay. All right. So pre-foreclosures. This script is a little tough, right? This one's tough. So the easiest script when you're calling this, right? And this one, again, when we go through script practice and all that, I'll make it as easy as possible. So Anna, will you be my seller?
You got it.
Wonderful. So Anna, went on a rampage, went to Vegas, decided to leave her husband, went buck wild crazy, started dating Sergio the landscaper, and now she hasn't made her mortgage payment in X amount of time. And I'm calling her up because she's going into foreclosure. So ring, ring.
Hello?
Yeah, hi, I was looking for Anna.
Yeah, this is Anna.
Hi, Anna. This is Brendan with Keller Williams Real Estate. Hey, I was calling today because I just had an investor reach out to me who has interest in buying your home. Do you have any interest in selling it?
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Okay. Now, that was great if she would have just said yes, right? That I love role playing with Anna because she's just a positive answer, right? Now, if they say yes, great. If they say no, there's a whole nother script that we go over which has all the objection handlers of doing it, but we couldn't fit it all on one page. So when I do that, but that opening line is the easiest line. If they say yes, great. Pre-qual them, set the listing appointment, and go and help them. If they say no, you're just going to kind of let them know. So okay, well, I was reaching out because my investor wanted to know, or because my investor noticed that you were on a pre-foreclosure list, and I was curious, were you aware that you were in pre-foreclosure? Anna's going to be like, and they always know they are, they just lie about it. They're like, no, what? And you're like, yeah, and this takes a lot of empathy. Yeah, I'm so sorry. So, I help a lot of sellers make sure that they don't go into actual foreclosure and lose any equity they had in the property. So, I mean, do you have a backup option as far as right now of avoiding foreclosure? And they'll be like, well, we're negotiating with the bank. We're working out something. I'm going to do something. I completely understand. And Anna, I appreciate you taking my call. If there's any reason that some of this doesn't work out for you, I'd love to be a backup option in that instance. So I'll be in your neighborhood. I'd like to come by, at least tell you what amount of equity you have in the property and what all of your options look like. I'll be in your neighborhood today at 4, or does tomorrow at 2 work? Right? And you just go straight to the appointment, okay? And you got to remember that they might be upset. It could take a while to go through this process. They might need a short sale. There's a lot of different versions of this, but unfortunately, this is going to happen a lot more right now. It just is. We have, what is it, the latest count, 25 million people that are filed for unemployment. You can't get enough stimulus packages to afford your mortgage forever. And people can go, well, Brendan, you're a vulture and you're this or that. I'm not. I am just here because every part of this piece is going to happen. You have great markets. Nobody hated us when they were making 40 grand, 60 grand, 100 grand in equity, right? Now, unfortunately, things have turned, and some people are going to need to get out of their house because they can't afford it. And remember, when we went back to our divorce situation, talk about one of the biggest buckets I have when I call the foreclosure list are people getting divorced. because they get so locked in that they go, screw you, neither of us, I'm not going to pay the mortgage, I'm not going to pay the mortgage. And Anna's off with Sergio in Vegas, right? Nothing's happening there. So then they go into foreclosure because of the actions that they decided to do. So it's not just, a lot of times it can be job loss, it can be emotional, it can be psychological. It's a whole nother world, but it's a whole nother world of money. Okay, so just think about that, but make sure you're there to help them to protect any equity they have left or to help them in the short sale process. All right, 4 minutes left. We talked about scripts. If you really want to practice these role plays and scripts, go to our YouTube page. I go through these in detail. I explain each script. I talk to you about the nuances of all of them. It's Brendan Bardick Real Estate Coaching on YouTube. It's the best station on YouTube by far. All right, number 5, just listed open houses. I'm not going to cover this too much because you can't really do open houses right now, but the just listed call. So if you have Kohl's Directory, if you have Mojo, hey, we just listed the house at well, let me give you the script. Well, we talked about Kohl's Directory. So Kohl's Directory, this is where you can go find the phone numbers. At our Keller Williams office, we pay for this for our agents, so they have that access to be able to pull this information themselves anytime, anywhere, so you can get any neighborhood information. If not, you can buy this service. It is a little bit pricey. So, maybe pair up with a friend or a buddy if you want to kind of lower the cost. There's always different ways to do this. You can share dialers, you can share directories and all that fun stuff. So you're going to call them up. Hey, we just listed the house at 123 Elm Street. It's got 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. Who do you know right now that would be interested in buying this home? I'm paraphrasing because of the time, right? That's a just listed call. Then after they go, well, I don't know of anybody. Well, thank you for taking the time to think about that, John. If you were to move, where would you go next? We're going to move in a year. We're going to move in 6 months. We're never going to move. Don't call me, hang up on me. Whatever it is, this is a volume game. You're calling the neighborhood, trying to find anyone, not only that wants to sell right now, but that you can nurture in your database for the future. And there's a lot of nuances to this script. All right, now when you can do open houses, we're going to go back to this. You can do a 7th level open house. Right now, you can kind of do a 7th level open virtual tour, right? So we were looking at it in that same way. What can I do to do for my seller a 7th level virtual open house? And again, we have a whole nother class on that, but it's an amazing system that you're doing the same things, you're just doing them different right now because of restrictions, okay? Just sold, same thing. Hey, I just sold or my neighbor or my office just sold the house at 123 Elm Street. It's got 5 bedrooms, 3 baths. I was just calling the neighbors to see if you or anyone you know might be interested in selling because we still have a big buyer demand for this home. So John, do you happen to know of anybody? No, no one comes to mind. Nobody from church, the PTA, anything? No, I don't know anybody that's looking to sell. John, I appreciate that. John, if you were to move, just because I get a lot of buyers for this neighborhood, John, if you were to move, where would you go next? And the script goes on, right? So that script is very effective, very powerful. It works. I mean, we sell a ton of homes from all of these buckets, but you got to practice and get good at a few of them very quickly first. All right. For rent buy owners, again, sellers that need to sell their property or the landlords that might be interested in selling their property right now. The RedX, Zillow, Airbnb owners, Craigslist, Denver Post. This should be one of the biggest buckets you're going after right now because, again, they're not getting rental money. They're frustrated. They never want to be in this situation again. It's an absolute nightmare. And a lot of people are going, I'm going to wash my hands of it. So figure out how to get in front of, and you can pay for it or you can do it manually for rent buy owners. All right. Or you can write a note to them, write a letter to them. Anna, would you like to read that, please?
Yeah. So it says, I notice you own several properties here in Denver. Congratulations. I work with several families and investors helping them create wealth through real estate. I'm sure you receive hundreds of these a month, but to show you just how serious I am about creating value for my clients, I included a detailed CMA on each of your current properties. If there's a particular property that is under delivering, perhaps we can discuss alternatives. I'll follow up with you in a few days. I look forward to connecting.
Thank you so much. Love Anna, right? So you can do this for rent buy owners. You're going to get one of these people that responds to you that wants to do it, right? So we've got the for rent by owner script there. It's lethal. When I mean lethal in a good way, that's probably shouldn't say that in this current situation. It's really good script that works really well. All right, for sell by owners, these last two, you know them. I'm not going to talk to them about it too much. If you don't know that you should be calling for sell by owners right now, they need you more than ever. Before they were like, man, I can do this without Brendan, whatever, right? Now they're like, no one's coming to my house and I need to sell. What can I do? For sell by owners are a money machine right now for needing you for the first time in a long time in their mind. They always needed you. Now they really, really need you. All right. And we have a beautiful script that goes through that entire process. Then number one, expireds. Surprise, surprise. You know that they need to sell. You know that they've already decided to use an agent, and the agent that they used before was a goofball, and now they need your help to save them. Think about how many expired listings we're going to have over the next few months, guys and gals. It's going to be ridiculous. So if you're not studying these techniques for expired listings, you're going to be missing out on a flood of opportunities. So all these things are there. There's the scripts, everything's provided on how to do them. Get really good at expired listings. All right, guys, all of this comes down to no matter which bucket you pick or buckets that you pick, you've got to be relentless. This comes from a pure passion every day that you're going to be making this consistent effort. And again, the best salespeople are just assuring choices someone was going to make anyway. I think about that all the time. Whenever I feel like I'm being pushy, I'm like, they were going to do it, and it happens. Then you weren't, not to say pushy, when you were closing strong enough and you felt like you were calling too much or whatever it is, they're going to make that sale either with you or somebody else. Might as well be you. All right. So where to find our tools of success? We talked about it. I know we posted in the chat box. If you still have questions, if you'd like to, talk about further things, look at our list of courses that are coming up, connect with us. Would love it if you could provide me any sort of feedback or reviews. We're trying to come to you with the best content on earth because I want all of you to have massive success. So let me know what we can do, how we can help. And then tomorrow, part 2 of our series, how to list these puppies. Now you got all these darn listings, right? Or leads. How do we turn those into listings, and how do we win the listing presentation, both digitally and in person when we can come back to that time. So thank each of you so much. Was there any questions, Anna, or anything else before I jump off?
Yeah, I've got 2 questions for you. Number 1, for circle prospecting, do you prefer RedX or Cole Realty Resource?
RedX, by far. Yeah, RedX was one of the first in the business. Well, RedX and Coles were both first in the business. RedX is more designed as a better CRM. It's more for real estate agents, where Coles is more for the general public. So I prefer RedX as far as the way it categorizes information and makes it, not to say almost stupid proof, but it makes it very simple to have success with their system.
Perfect. And then the other question is now with all these really amazing ideas, I have 20 new ideas. How do I prioritize executing or putting these into my business? Any advice?
Yeah, great question. So the first thing is okay, number 1, do I want to attack my current database? Do I have a decent enough database? If I had a database of 50 plus people, I would go with the techniques that were more database driven. If you just moved here from Texas and you don't have a big database, then you've got to go for the more outbound lead generation, which is expireds, for sell by owners, just solds. I mean, if you want to really sharpen your blade, just solds is where to do that, because it's a warm and easy call. It's not warm, but it is kind of warm, where it's, hey, we just sold a house in your neighborhood. We've got more buyers. Do you have any interest in selling? There's a lot more that goes into it, but that's the basic script. They're either going to say yes, no, or go to heck. One of those 3 things is going to happen, and we have objection handlers that cover each one, but that's a really easy way to leverage in. So if you have a great database, focus on the database ones. If you don't, then you need to go and create a database by the outbound lead generation sources.
Perfect. Thanks. That was the last question, folks. If you have any final questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat box. We'll hang out for just a few more moments.
All right, guys, can't thank you enough. And as always, I wish each of you great success.